Everyone, hi. Bruce Muffson, LCSW, coming at you with another video breakdown from SUNRIDGE, Nevada. For those of you new to the channel, I want to explain what the purpose of our channel is. We want to give you information so you have a better understanding about mental health issues. As for myself, I graduated from the University of Georgia with a master's in social work. Sorry for the voice, I'm just getting over a cold. I then had to do a 2-year internship and take a national exam to become a licensed clinical social worker. I have worked inpatient in hospitals, and I've also done outpatient work seeing people in their homes. I have also assessed hundreds of people in prison and detention facilities and have testified hundreds of times in court to explain and clarify mental health issues to the judge, ADA, and public defender regarding adolescents and adults. I have also done extensive public speaking, mostly to law enforcement, on understanding mental health issues with the mentally ill. And to maintain my license, I had to do 36 hours of classes every 2 years to maintain my license. Okay, today's song is going to be Mother I Sober. Of course, we're still doing Kendrick Lamar from the album Mr. Morale and the Big Steppers. As always, I'm going to let you know where I'm coming from in terms of the verse and the song, so you're able to follow along with me as I break it down clinically. Okay, here we go. Mother I Sober is a very powerful song, and from just the comments alone, you can get that understanding. So many people talked about how this song helped them understand themselves who have been victims of abuse, sexual, physical, emotional, and mental. The term Mother I Sober, to me, when Kendrick is saying this, is because he's letting his mother know, Mother, I sober, and that finally at the end, it's all clear. There's no more confusion. I'm now clean. I now understand myself. I'm sober. There's no more fog. There's no more mirrors. There's no more walls. Now I see everything for what it is. Hence the term Mother I Sober. You know, it's like a testament to his own mother. Now, going over in verse 1, you get this comment, Mother cried, they put their hands on her. It was family ties. I heard it all. I should have grabbed the gun, but I was only 5. I deal with this a lot in counseling, where I have kids who are still kids. Maybe they were 6, now they're 11, or they were 15, now they're 30, and they talk about this. I should have done something, Bruce. I should have done something. I should have kicked his ass. I should have grabbed the gun. I should have grabbed the knife when it was happening. And what I'll do, if it can work, is light hypnosis to make them understand you couldn't do anything. You were a kid. They were an adult. And as much as you want to rise to the occasion, physically, it was never going to happen. You would have been hurt. You would have been swept aside. Don't beat yourself up. But this is the sickness of sexual abuse and violence, where at a very early age, you become like the protector that you could never be. And that's when the guilt starts. Why didn't I do more? Because you couldn't have. You were a child. And that's not the weight a child should be bearing. So I get those moments, those comments. I should have grabbed the gun. I was only 5. Yeah, 5. The kickback would have knocked your hand off. It's not realistic. Okay, going forward, in the chorus, which is said several times by Beth Gibbons, I wish I was somebody, anybody but myself, or I wish I was somebody, anybody but myself. Yeah, I don't want to be me. That's the common theme of being a victim of abuse. I don't want to be in my own body. The few times I've dealt with people that had multiple personalities, it always stemmed from sexual abuse. Where, like, the person will say to me, as I was being molested, my body floated up. I was looking down and I said to that person on the bed, that's a weak person. I'm strong. I would never put up with that. That's where it comes from. You know, always, always, always hardcore abuse. And that's where you get that separation from. That's a weak part of me. I'm the strong version of me. And that's where you see that from. I don't want to be me because it's too terrifying to comprehend. That's where the seeds of the sickness are sowed. All right, going forward on the next page, Well, family ties, still on verse 2 now. They accused my cousin. Did he touch you, Kendrick? Oh boy, did he touch you, Kendrick? This is so common in families when they start to see things that look weird. Did something happen? They see that look in your eyes. They see that dullness in your eyes. They see how you walk. They see how you come out of a bathroom. And there's a look of like, oh God, I've seen that look. It's a look of horror that you can't comprehend. And you're like a thousand, they call in Vietnam, 1,000-yard stare, been in combat too long. You're lost. Did something happen to you, Kendrick? Did he touch you? Frozen moments a little further down, still holding on it. Hard to trust myself. Hard to trust myself. Frozen moments, still holding on to it. Hard to trust myself. You don't trust yourself. Did I see it? Did I really believe it happened? So many times people will say things like, no, couldn't have been. It's not possible. He's my cousin. He's my uncle. He's my brother. Put the line in and fill in the blank. He's this, she's that. She's my babysitter. He's my rabbi. He's my priest. He's this, he's this. Do I trust myself to believe what I saw? Frozen moments, still holding on to it. Hard to trust myself. Is it a mirage? Is it a dream? Is it a fantasy? Did it really happen? This is all true. This is all part of being molested. Then a little further down, did he touch you? I said, no again. Still, they didn't believe me. We think something did happen, Kendrick. That's experience that we do have. That's what the parents are telling us, his mother's telling them. Once it happens to you, you know that look, you know that appearance, how you dress, how you think, how you eat. You lose interest in things. You don't go out of your room anymore. You become self-abusive. You gain weight. You lose weight. You have problems with your bowels. What's going on? You're not the same happy-go-lucky person. Something is odd. Something is off. Parents know their kids better than anybody else. Then, mother's brother said, so that would be his uncle, he got revenge for my mother's face, black and blue, the image of my queen that I can't erase. Whew. Painful lines to read. You never forget that look. I know that I can't what happened to my mother. Her face when things went terribly wrong. To see your mother brutalized on any level, it's like a punch to the face. It's a punch, it leaves you gasping for air. Punch to the face, punch to the stomach. You can't get air in. My own mother is disfigured because her face is discolored. It's like a boxer doing 12 rounds with Floyd. What happened? You're not the same person when you see something like that. You grow up very bitter, very angry, and very, very upset. Okay, now going forward, okay, we're going to be now in the, because it's a long song. So verse 3, it's a long one. So it goes like this. It goes a little further and it goes, I never knew she was violated in Chicago. You don't want to know. That's really the truth. You don't really want to know. I never knew she was violated in Chicago. Who wants to know that stuff? Mother tells you that kind of thing? You don't want to know. You hear it secondhand. Did you know, Kendrick, by the way, your mother? I don't want to know. But once you're violated, you know the signs of someone who's being violated. Mother's not stupid. She's on top of things. Then it goes like this. Now I'm affected. 20 years later, trauma has resurfaced, amplified as I write. It's like poison shrapnel in your body. And we're finally beginning to understand the effects of trauma on the brain and on your self-esteem. Not forget about your self-esteem and just physically what it does to you. It leads to cancer, heart attack, stroke, diabetes, hypertension. We're only now, slowly now, understanding the depths of trauma. Read that line again, those 3 lines. Now I'm affected, 4 lines. 20 years later, trauma has resurfaced, amplified as I write, and what it does to you mentally and physically. Now, going forward, you have it where it goes, it's interesting too, because it gets louder when you hear the words, they raped our mothers and they raped our sisters. the tone is louder. He's trying to get like a self-esteem thing, like he's trying to push away the past and move forward. He goes, I know the secrets. Every other rapper sexually abused. I see them daily burying their pain in chains and tattoos. It's all a front, guys. It's all a front. Every other rapper. Well, he would know better than me. That's his business. He mingles with these people. So yeah, I'm covered in tats. I'm covered in gold. I'm covered in my women, my cars, my clothes. It's all a front. It's not real. You put that on so no one should look. Always go back to that movie, Wizard of Oz. Do not look behind that curtain. Do not go behind that curtain. When you pull away the curtain, reality check. Who wants to look in the mirror? It's scary. But a great, great sequence of lines. And then a little further, he goes, so I set free myself from all that guilt that I thought I made. Oh boy, I love that line. I thought I made. That's what they convince you. Oh, come on, Kendrick. Don't tell. Don't share. You want to get your uncle in prison? That's what I hear from people all the time when I do counseling. They told me not to say anything. Your uncle's very prominent. The religious leader, he does so much good work. He was on drugs, your cousin. He wasn't your cousin. It was the crack. It was the cocaine. It was the alcohol. It's not his fault. Come on, what are you going to do? That babysitter, she has a bright future. Come on. Her parents are having problems. Excuses, excuses, excuses. Yeah, all the guilt that I thought I made. I've heard this 1,000 times in therapy. Put the guilt on you. Yeah, as an 11-year-old, you're really ready to handle that stuff. But that's what they do to you. The guilt, they give you the guilt. How dare they? You should take some responsibility for what they did to you. And I spent so much time trying to drain that pus that's inside of you. Now, at the end of the song, at the interlude, his girlfriend, Whitney Alford, says, you did it, I'm proud of you. You broke a generational curse, because we're learning now that a lot of times these things run in families, generation after generation. And the kids say, thank you, Daddy. Thank you, Dad. Thank you, Dad. Thank you, Daddy. Thank you, Mommy. Thank you, brother, Mr. Morale. Let me clarify something, okay? I know everyone's big on social media. You spend hours on there with your likes and your friends and who likes you. Guys, it's just a mist. It's just fog. It's not real. Your foundation is your family. If you have a wife, you have a husband, if you're lucky enough to have children that don't drive you too crazy, that's your foundation. You might find 1 or 2 friends in life that you really can say, they're my friends. Everyone else, it's just people you pass in the hallway at work. They're not really your friends. People, hey, how you doing? How you doing? They retire, you leave, they leave. You really care after they're gone after 2 days? You barely remember their name 6 months later. Your family is the most important thing you have. Now, I was happy they put that at the end where he's talking about that. The girlfriend saying to him, I'm proud of you. You got 2 little kids now. They look up to you. What kind of father are you going to be to them? What kind of role model are you going to be? Are you going to be a protector or a disappearer? And now I want to say this. It's not just a great song. It's a great song, because it went into some areas that you never really hear about. But it's a gut-punching one to me and to a lot of other people that were listening to it. The comments, hundreds of thousands of comments. I was affected, I was affected, I was affected, I was affected, of all kinds of abuse and what people have gone through, in particular, of course, the sexual and physical. So many times in therapy, people will tell me their abuse stories and that they're the only ones they think it happened to. And they don't realize how many people every day and every year are molested around the world. It could be its own country. It's so staggering, the numbers. It's sick. It's insane. And how it's swept under the rug and kept quiet. Kudos to Kendrick for going into some deep, dark places that no one wants to go into. The dark basement that smells of mold. the attic, the top of the house. That's like, you feel icky walking in, all the cobwebs, the building that's abandoned in the forest. Okay. And, and to confront nightmares and demons more terrifying than Jason, Freddy, the mom from Aliens, and The Walking Dead. Yes, to do that, though, just that first step gives you a chance to reclaim your self-respect, your self-dignity, and your self-worth, and see light where there was only darkness. To me, clinically, if you want to go ahead and forgive, go ahead and forgive. My response is, learn to forgive yourself. That's the person you need to really look to and say, I'm sorry for what happened to you. And here's why. You were the victim. You had nothing to do with the abuse that was inflicted towards you. People should have been looking out for you, and they didn't. All these excuses, all these stories, they're just stories. Someone should have looked out for you because you were defenseless and you were a child. And you had no idea what was being done to you and you didn't deserve it. In conclusion, get that cancer out of you. Never ever blame yourself. No excuse makes it justified, and it should never have happened to you in the first place. Don't suffer in silence. Forget about an apology. You're never going to get one anyway. And go live the life you should be living. Let us know in the comments when you came to that conclusion about how you were treated and how you're moving forward. I'd like to hear from you. Bruce Mofson, LCSW, Sunridge, Nevada.